So I am Dr. Marsha, and welcome to the 2.0 Grandma's podcast. And it is my pleasure to have as a very special guest today, a very sought after special guest, by the way, Ms. Lisa Roth. Am I saying that right? Roth?
You're saying it correctly.
Okay.
Thank you for
So
having me.
you are so welcome. I am excited because I've seen you dancing online as you're getting ready for your date night and different things. So I'm like, okay, she looks like a lot of fun. You look like the type of girl that you want to hang out with, to go out and party with, because you look like a lot of fun, right? So I'm excited to meet you, and I'm excited that you're having so much fun in your life right now. And that is what I love. I like to kind of gravitate to people like that, right? People that are fun loving and, just enjoying their life. And to me, that's what this whole Grandma's 2.0 movement is about. So I'm always out here looking for women who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, but are about having a good time. Like this, living that 2.0 version, I like to call it. Not the second chapter, but the 2.0 version of their life, and making sure that they are having a good time. This is the time in your life when you are to do, make sure you focus on joy.
Here,
Right?
yes.
You've had your kids are grown. Now you're doing, maybe you got grandkids, and you should not have a care in the world. This should be your time.
I agree.
Right.
100%.
So that's what we're on here talking about. And so I'm always trying to find these untold stories about these women that are doing phenomenal things out here. And so I want to hear all about you, Miss Lisa Roth. We want to hear all about what you're doing out here in these streets, as they say. So let's hear about it. So first, let's talk about your grandkids, and then we'll get into what you're doing out here.
Oh, those are my blessings.
I know it, girl.
I used to hear my grandmother say, when you get older and you have your grandkids, you're going to love your grandkids more than your kids. And I never really understood
it.
I
know, me either.
And when my first grandson was born, which was 21 years ago, I said, now I know what she's talking about, because she's talking about that you were able to live to see your next legacy.
Yes.
So I have 5 grandboys. I'm waiting for that granddaughter.
All boys?
It's not going to happen, but I have 5 grandboys. Yeah.
All boys?
All boys.
Oh, wow. Wow.
All boys. And they're what keeps me on my toes. And I love it when they say, because they call me Yaya. That's why my Instagram handle is Yaya.
Yeah.
And I love it when they say, Yaya, you're such a cool grandma. You're not like other grandmas. And I'm mission accomplished.
I know. That just warms your heart, right?
Yeah. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Now, what's the age range?
21, 17, 14, 10, and 2.
Oh, 2. Oh, my God. That 2-year-old. Oh, my God.
He's the one. Ooh, he's the one that I tell my daughter, every little thing you did is going to come back with that one.
Now, one daughter has all those?
No, my son has
two. Poor baby. Right?
No. My oldest, Crystal, she has 2 boys, Matthew and Noah. And my son has 2 boys, Joshua and Jacob. And then my youngest daughter, Melissa, has Corey Jr.
Okay. I love all of them are biblical names. I love that.
Yes, that
Joshua,
was strategic.
Jacob, Noah. I love that. And Matthew.
Yes. My youngest said, Ma, I didn't give him a biblical name. And I said, but his middle name is Michael. In the Bible, that's Jesus' name when he's in heaven, Michael. So we're good.
Yes, he's still good. Yes. Oh, boys. We got 5 boys too, and 2 girls. But and those 5 boys are a hoot. And yeah, they something special. I tell you, they yeah. Those you're right. Your mom was right. Those grandkids, they take your love to a whole nother level, honey.
They do. They
do. Those things, I tell you. And they tell me the great grands take it to a whole nother level. I don't know. I'm not there yet, but I'm like,
not there yet.
How can that even be? Right?
Yes, I'm not there yet. They have to finish college and
I
live
know,
life.
I know, I know, I
I'm
know,
not
right?
there yet.
Yeah, I'm not there yet either. But I'm like, that's one of my friends told me that. I'm like, really? How can that even be? But I can't even fathom that. But yeah.
Yes.
Mm, mm, mm,
But
mm,
I
mm.
love what you're all about. I
Well,
really, really
thank
do.
you. Thank
Yes,
you.
I really do. I read your newsletter
Oh,
letters, and
great.
it's just women. There's a segment of women that feel that their life is over.
Yes, yes, yes. And
Yes,
we
and
are
I
not
don't know.
having that.
No, I don't understand why. I just did a reel about what, a week ago, and I was sharing an experience. I love this woman. She's an older woman in her 80s. I would have never guessed her age. And we were just
Mm,
talking one day, and she said, "How old are you?" And I told her that I was 61. And I put it in my reel, and she said, "Don't tell anybody your age." And I said, "Why are you doing that? This woman is gorgeous." When she asked me to guess her age, and I said, "I don't want to do that, because if I get it wrong, I don't want to do that." She says, "You will not get it wrong. Trust me." And she was right. I guessed
mm,
her age 10 years younger than what she actually is. She's 80 years
mm,
old.
mm.
I don't understand. And there are a lot of women, whether they're grandmas or not, we're here to celebrate life.
Yes, baby.
You know,
Yes.
there's so many people, women who are going through so many problems, whether it's heart disease or Alzheimer's. They don't get the privilege of reaching our age. Why would you want to hide that? So what you're doing, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I am having such a good time doing this, and I did not realize this until recently, right? That because I came about, how I started doing this was, I don't want to say it was an accident. It was
Mhm.
like I didn't realize that this was my purpose until recently, right? Because I guess I've always been doing something similar in a way, right?
Right.
But didn't realize that that it was my thing, or that was my purpose. I hadn't
Right.
always been a grandma, of course. So I didn't realize that that was going to be my thing, so to speak. I used to do fashion shows and pageants and things like that when I was young. I was in pageants and fashion
Really?
shows. Yeah, I was into that sort of thing. My field is education. I was a teacher. I was a paraprofessional teacher. I'm a college professor now. So I've always been in that education field. But I always loved fashion. I was a Catholic school girl, had to wear uniforms. So I always loved fashion because we
Mhm.
always had to wear those ugly, awful uniforms. And I said, when I grow up, I'm going to have lots of clothes, so that I can wear what I want to wear and do all this stuff, right? And so then I got into fashion shows, and I was doing fashion shows in this little town, where most people didn't really even care about fashion, but I did, right? and
Mhm.
so and so people would come to my fashion shows because, I guess, because they were like, why is she even having it? Who cares? But people would come because of the entertainment part of it or whatever.
Right.
And so then when I became a grandma, and in the beginning I was like, oh no, this baby is not gonna call me grandma, because guess what? No. You're gonna have to call me grand diva. No, 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 no. I'm not ready. No, 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 no. I'm nobody's grandma. And then people say, well, you don't look like a grandma, you don't act like a grandma. And I'm like, well, what does a grandma look like and act like?
Exactly.
Because there are no rules that say a grandma needs to act a certain way. Although society does say that, grandmas are a certain way, and people treat us a certain way.
Right.
They treat you like, okay, you're an old woman, you wear clothes a certain way, right?
Right.
You're supposed to look, because when I started trying to build my website, all the pictures were of women who had gray hair, or women who were really frail looking, who were not kind of bent over, and I was like, no, wait a doggone minute. I don't look like
Mhm.
that, right?
Exactly.
Women I know don't look like that, so
Exactly.
what's the deal here?
You
So
know what's
then
so
I was
funny with
like,
that, what you're mentioning? When my youngest daughter got married 4 years ago, and I said, okay. She says, "Mom," she picked the color and everything. She said, "But you have to do the legwork and look for the dress." So I went online, and I typed in "mother of the bride dresses."
mm-hmm.
Marsha, when I tell you, they were horrible,
Right,
because it's exactly what you just described.
right, right,
I said, I am not walking down the aisle presenting my daughter wearing these ugly dresses,
right,
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Right.
Yeah.
And boobs hanging way down here. So I'm like, oh no, the devil is a lie. Or you wearing moo-moos. And I'm like, no, nobody dresses
Yes.
like this. Nobody I know. And then when you know, on TV, we would see like the housewives, right? And remember when Nene Leakes became a grandma, she's like, oh no. Remember?
Yes.
You know?
I
So then it
remember
was like,
that.
so then finally it started catching on because I think she said something about, no, he's not gonna call me, he's gonna call me grandma. Right. And
Right.
so then that started catching on. And so then I was like, okay. So then people would say, well, oh no, not grandma anymore. Now it's glamma. So I
Yes.
said, so people would say, oh no, they're gonna call you glamma. I said, no. I said, that one's taken. I said, I'm gonna have to come up with something else. So I said, okay, I'm gonna try the grandma, a 2.0 grandma, because you know how the phones have the 2.0, 3, I think with the iPhones now we're up to 17, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
everything, when we think about technology, it's like an advanced version. So I said, no, I'm going to be the advanced version of a grandma. We're going to
Or
be
the
the 2.0
upgraded
version.
version.
We'll be upgraded, right?
Yeah.
So like Beyonce, the upgrade, remember her
Yes.
song? Yeah. So it's like all that kind of stuff was kind of going through my mind, right? And so I was like, okay, it's the upgrade, honey, right? So,
Yes.
so it was that. And so I said, yeah, we got to think about this thing differently
Yeah.
because we are not the same old kind of grandmas.
No,
First
we're
of all, we're
not.
not sitting at home. We're not trying to babysit unless we want to. We
Unless
got
we
stuff
want.
we want to do too.
Exactly.
We got
We're not
places to
knitting
be.
anymore.
We're not knitting. I mean, who
Unless we want
knows
to.
how to knit, right? I mean, yeah,
Right?
what, right, right. And we're not. And the other thing that people expect of us is to babysit when they want to go out and have fun. Guess what? We want to go out and have fun too.
Have fun too. Yes.
Who says we cannot have fun? Where is that
Or
written?
they'll do with the memes. If you see the memes, you see the children driving up with the grandkids in the back seat
Uh-huh.
and telling her husband, don't make a sound. Let's just take the kids out of the seat and put them right in the front of the door, ring the bell, and let's go.
And then
Because
run
they know
off,
they
right? Or you see the little ones where it said, take me to grandma's house now. With the look. So she lets me do whatever. No. Drive right on by grandma's house, baby, and
That's
go
right.
somewhere. So
but then when we got them, we can't let them go. We just
right, exactly. And then like I was telling people, that does not mean that you don't love your grandkids. That's not what that means at all. But it does mean that you have your own life.
Right.
And it does mean that you get to say when you want to have your grandkid. It
Right.
does not mean that just because your grandma is like open season and oh, I'm gonna take him to grandma's house because she ain't got nothing to do. Who says I ain't got nothing to do? Right.
Yeah, exactly. Let me check my calendar. Let me see if I can squeeze you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Let me
how
check
it
my
should
calendar.
be. Yeah.
Yes. And the other thing is, it does not mean too that grandma has to dole out money because that's the other thing they think we're
That's
supposed
another
to
thing.
do,
Right.
dole out money. You know, grandma,
Yes.
you got money because I need to pay this and I need to pay that. You better get a job. Okay, because
Exactly.
last time I checked, when I need to pay something, I have to work. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
Because
No, I'm
we're
with you all the
working
way.
longer. Yeah, we're working longer than before. You know, most people are
Yeah.
still working, even as grandparents, they're still working.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah. So yeah, it's a new day. It's a
It
whole new
is.
day out there. So that's
It
what we
is.
want people to understand, that it's a new day and that
Yeah.
grandmas can do, you know, grandmas are not like grandmas of the past, right? We're not
Right.
sitting around, watching soap operas all day. Now there's some
Yeah.
people that are doing that. And if that's what you want to, how you want to live your life, I say go for it, girl. That's up
Right.
to you.
Right.
Because it's
Right.
your life. Do what you want to do with it.
Right.
But if you want to go out here and have a good time, go for it.
There's so much out there. It's so much.
Yes.
And that's what I wanted my Instagram page to reflect.
Yes.
I wanted them to see that when I do have my grandkids, oh, we're having fun. Yes, we went to Disney World. Yes, we went to the zoo. But there's another side to Yaya Roth.
Yes.
And I'm getting so much feedback from women saying, you have the courage that we're trying to muster up. And I just enjoy it. And once I got, my daughters had to convince me to make my page public because it was all about, oh no, I'm gonna be private. I'm gonna have just my closest friends or my family. And they said, "Ma, but you should do it." And I'm a private person, so I was afraid. And I know there's a lot of naysayers out there, so I didn't want to hear that. And I say, you know what? I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I have to honestly say that the positive feedback has been greater.
Yes. And see, that's another thing. A lot of folks in our age group I know for us, my daughter said, y'all do not need to be on Facebook. I'm like, last time I checked, she don't tell me what to do. She tells my husband what to do, but she does not tell me what to do.
Yes.
She's like, Mama, you do not need to be. I said, look, with Grandma's 2.0, I do need to be on Facebook and Instagram.
And I'm glad
Thank
you're
you,
doing it.
ma'am. Okay, you do not tell me what to do. Cute. But she
Yes.
thinks she tells us what to do, right? This is the youngest child, right? She thinks she tells us what to do. And so I'm like, yeah, for my business, I do need to be on Facebook and Instagram. Now, personally, no, I don't really do too much on my Facebook. Every now and then I put something on there, but most of the time, what I do on there is I do for my business, right? For Grandma's 2.0. But yeah, but that's exactly right. You're right, because we do need to do that. But yeah, and it's a lot of fun too.
It is.
And if somebody says something negative, then so what? Who cares? That's on them.
Yes.
That is on them. But today there are a lot of people 40 plus that are on these social media sites.
Yes.
And they call them now grand influencers. And some of them have millions of followers. Because I follow some of those folks, they got lots and lots and lots and lots of followers. Yeah.
Yes, they do. There's room for everybody.
Yes, there is. I had a lady on last week who wrote some books about her grandchildren, some children's books, and she wrote this one book about taking the children on vacation. Beautiful books, beautiful, beautiful books. And I was like, wow. I said, me and my husband used to do that. We would take our grandkids on vacation. And I said, but we didn't write books about it. I said, it was really a lot of fun. So we've done lots of things, like that. I said that we probably could have written about. But yeah, it's a lot of fun out there. But I love when you go on your date nights and changing your clothes and which outfit and this, it's a lot of fun. It is so much fun. And you live in Miami, right?
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. And I love the fact that so warm there and all of that, because that means you get to wear year-round nice clothes where you don't have to put a coat on and all that stuff.
That's the fun part.
That's really nice. Yeah, that's the fun part. It really is. It really is.
Coming from New York. We've been here. My husband and I moved here 12 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, coming from New York. So I try to bring in a little bit of I don't want to say a winter vibe, more like a change of season. So I'll wear a very thin jacket and then I'll throw a scarf.
Yes. Now I live in Hampton Roads area. Let me tell you some of the things that we've been doing. We've been here. They've got these different modeling groups. They've got. I met this girl who does this senior modeling group. I bet you would like that. They've got, they do some beautiful fashion shows and things like that. And these ladies, they're in their 60s, 70s. There's one lady that's in her 80s. Honey, you talking about stepping like they're coming out of a doggone magazine.
Oh, I love that.
Oh my God. Yes. And I think I had some of that on my page, on my Instagram page. I did a fashion show with them. I wasn't modeling, but I collaborated with them, had some of my grandmas in the fashion show with them. Oh my God. And then we did a gorgeous grandma pageant recently, like last summer. And a couple of those ladies were in the pageant. They were stepping like nobody's business. These women are something else.
Sounds amazing. Yes, I would like to be part of that.
Yes, something else. You hear me? I'm like, I've been in awe of them because they do not, they are not afraid. And this one lady said, well, when I put my application in to be a gorgeous grandma, she said, I was a little bit scared because I don't see myself as a gorgeous grandma. And I said, well, if you don't see yourself as good, who do you think else is going to see yourself as gorgeous? Right?
Exactly.
She said, well, I think that's kind of vain. I said, oh, is it really? You think that? She said, yeah. I said, well, you don't have to mean it gorgeous on the outside. You can be gorgeous inside and out, right? I said, but it's a state of mind. Think about it that way. If you don't want to think about it on the outside, think about it that way as a state of mind. She said, oh, well, I didn't think about it from that perspective. I said, yeah, it's how you perceive it. Right? I said, it's not how anyone else perceives it. It's how you perceive it. And she said, oh. And she won the thing. And we had judges to judge the pageant. And she had a beautiful walk. Beautiful walk. Wow. Very elegant, right? And she could walk to no matter what song they played. they came out like 3 times. And they had it first. They came out with like a casual outfit on. They had to answer a question from the judge. They came out that second time. Then they came out the last time in an evening gown. Beautiful, beautiful,
Wow.
beautiful, beautiful. So it
Wow.
was absolutely stunning.
And I
Then
bet
they
at the end of that
arrayed.
night, I bet she felt different, that it was
Yes,
not
she
vain.
did. Right. And she said, "Oh my God, I was so shocked when I won." I'm like, "Well, why were you shocked?" She said, "Because I just didn't see myself as gorgeous." She said, "I really didn't." I said,
Yeah.
"Well, clearly the judges did."
Yeah. And that's because that goes back to that mindset. When you reach
Yes.
a certain age, you're dead. No,
Right.
no, you're not.
Exactly.
Embrace what you have. If you have a little bit of wrinkles, I see that a badge of honor. That's my life. This tells a story.
Yes.
When I decided I wanted to let my hair go gray, people were like, what? And I said, no, because what I was doing, what made me get to that point was I had wanted to do it for a while to go gray. And what made me push myself and say, oh no, the chemicals was killing my hair, Marsha,
Mm. Mm.
because I was fighting against gravity. Because in my mind, it was like, you're old, you look ragged. And I said, no, 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 no. And when I decided and the gray started coming in
Mm-hmm.
and I embraced it, and then lo and behold, I got an email from the CEO of Mason 276, the 3-step program for hair, for blonde hair and silver hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if this is God telling me that I made the right decision, I became one of her ambassadors.
Wow.
One of her ambassador. And I said, see that? I'm not done.
Wow.
I'm not, that saying, don't put baby in the corner. No.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I love that. Don't put baby in the corner. That's a good way to say it, to think of that. I love that.
Yes.
Yes.
When I decided, when everybody was telling me, but you're gonna look so old, don't do it, don't do it. Got an email and I showed my
No, but
husband. He
you
says, I think
don't.
you would be perfect for that. Yes.
Ah.
Yes. And I'm
And
still her
your skin
ambassador.
is very beautiful as well.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.
So, and that's, and then the way you act. So you got to think about the whole package.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. You got to think
Yes.
about the whole package.
Yes. And don't get us wrong. I mean, I don't want to sit here and make it seem like we're perfect. I
Mm-hmm.
got aches
Mm-hmm.
and pains too.
Hello.
Every so often I tell my husband, oh, I can't, my back, but it's not going to bring me down. I'm
Right.
not going to succumb to where that's how I'm going to live. No, what do I have to do? If I have to stretch a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more, if I have to do a little bit more extra, if I have to walk that extra mile, but I'm not going
Mm-hmm.
to succumb. No, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going down with that ship. That's what I tell my
I
kids.
know that's right.
I'm not going
Yes.
down with the ship.
The devil is a lie.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, 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 yeah. Well, the gray is very becoming on you. It's very beautiful.
Thank you.
And one thing I noticed too, with some people and their gray, it does something to their skin. It makes their skin even more beautiful. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's the tone of the gray or if it's, I don't know. And then
Yeah.
some people, like some people in skin tone and it may wash them out, but yours is very beautiful. Yeah, I
Thank you.
noticed that. Yeah, it's very beautiful. So,
Thank you. The only thing I was afraid of with different colors, and in
mm,
terms of, because I love Caribbean color clothes, and I thought
mm,
maybe, but no, no,
hmm,
it did
hmm.
not. Yeah,
Okay. And so, but again, Lisa, you look like you're having so much fun.
I am. I
Now,
really am.
do you have a Caribbean, you're Caribbean native? Where are you
Yes,
from?
yes. My mom's family from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
My father's, which is my grandfather, from Morocco. That's not the
Okay.
Caribbean side, but his mother, which is my grandmother, Jamaican.
Ah,
So I have a
okay.
little bit of United Nations inside me.
Uh-huh, 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 uh-huh.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so yeah, I know you said your daughter's the one that got you to get on, Facebook and Instagram, right? So
Yes.
they're the ones that kind of made you a digital creator. They kind of got you. You were doing it, but you were very private.
I was private. I was just taking pictures of family
Mm-hmm,
dinners or family
mm-hmm,
events. Would take the kids
mm-hmm.
to Disney World, and my daughter would say, "Ma, you have so many pretty clothes, and Daddy buys you so many pretty jewelry." And because I was always complaining to them that some of my friends felt like they couldn't live life anymore.
Mm.
And they said to me, your friends are not the only ones that think that. There are a lot of women. Why don't you venture out? So I said, I got to think about it. And I said, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
do it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
There are
been
a lot of
in
women.
fact, November made a year. This November
Mm.
made a year, me coming out
Okay.
publicly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know one day I was getting a car to go somewhere. I can't remember, rental car place, and the girl said to me, she said, she had seen me come in there a couple of times. She said, I just love you and the way you are. And I said, what do you mean by that? And she said, I just love you the way you are. You always seem so happy and everything. She said, I wish you could talk to my mom. And I said, well, what's going on with your mom? She said, well, she always seems so down in the dumps. So and I gave her my card. And she said, that explains everything right there. And I said, what do you mean? She said, I didn't know you were a grandma. She said, and I didn't know you. She said, in this 2.0 thing, she said, I didn't understand. She said, I didn't know that. She said, now I understand why
See?
you are like you are. She said, because you understand that life is not over just because you're grandma. She said, but my mom act like her life is over because she's over 50 and all this stuff. And I said, oh, I said, girl, I said, your grandma should be happy she ain't got no kids at home. What is her problem? Just like that's how I said it. I said, don't she understand she got a golden opportunity, right? What is
Yes.
her problem? She
Yes.
said, well, you need to call her and tell her that. Just like that. And I said, do you really want me to call her? She said, yeah. She said, because all she wants to do is stay at home. And I said, oh, Lord. So I said, okay, give me her number. I said, you tell her I'm going to call her. So I called her. And the lady has not answered the phone yet.
No way.
And maybe because she didn't know the number, and I told the girl, I said, she didn't answer the phone. She said she won't answer the phone. She said, I don't know what's happening with her. She said, but I'm afraid that if she sits there, she's just gonna die or something. And I said, oh Lord. I said, well,
Oh,
get some cousins or somebody to come over there and talk to her. I said, maybe
right,
that will help. I said, sometimes people do need to be by themselves for a minute. I said, but don't let that linger. I said, because
right,
loneliness will, cause you to,
right,
do that. You
right,
don't need to be alone
right.
forever.
And
I said, but
isolation is not a
yeah,
good thing.
exactly. It's not good. I said, you do need people you need to be around people. I said, but, keep trying with her. I said, maybe there's your cousin, somebody that she likes or whatever. I said, but when I called her, she didn't answer the phone. I said, so I don't know what to do. I said, I can only call for
Mm,
so much. I said, I don't know what to do. I said, but there are a lot of people out there that are by themselves and they just want to hear from somebody. I said, but she
right.
clearly does not want to hear. Not right now. She may not be ready. I said,
How
so
sad is
gotta
that to know that
respect
there are
that.
people
Yeah.
out there that feel that way?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, so
Yeah, they
sad.
are. It is really sad. But there are people out there that are like that, And like I was telling, we do our newsletter around different things like that, those different areas of wellness, like
Mhm.
emotional wellness. There are a lot of people that are just out there by themselves. They need that social wellness. They need socialization. They need to
Right,
be in some kind of relationship and not necessarily a romantic relationship, but just being, connected to somebody that they can talk to, even if it's a
right,
friend, right?
right,
It can
right.
be platonic. They just need somebody to talk to.
They
That's why
do.
people have pets. They need somebody in there with them,
Right. We're social creatures. We need that,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And some more than others need
Right.
that. So yeah. So what she had skincare and all this kind of stuff. Black woman,
Hmm.
black owned business. She has lots of products for aging, skincare products for aging, and there's lots of different products, she said. And she might be one that you can, and she's in Atlanta. There was something that I saw online, when was it? That I shared that I think you would love. I don't know if it was Instagram. Is it Instagram? But it was so funny. The lady said, we are women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. We are not, we don't have an expiration date. We have an expansion date. We should be expanding ourselves, right? Because we are bigger, better, and better than ever before. So we should not be expiring or withering. We shouldn't be shrinking. As a matter of fact, we should be expanding. I was like, yes, girl. Yes, yes, yes. And I love that she's right. She said, now we should be doing things that we always wanted to do. And I think that's where we are in our lives right now. But yeah, so I thought that was a beautiful post, because she was saying we should not be shrinking ourselves. We should be expanding ourselves.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
We should be doing things that we've always wanted to do. And that's what I try to get the ladies to understand. One of the girls who was crowned, we had 4 winners. We had the third runner up, second runner up, first runner up, and then the queen. And one of the girls said, wow, this is something that I've always wanted to do, to be in a pageant and to ride in a parade and things like that. She said, I don't know if you realize it or not, but you are making my dreams come true. And I thought, wow, that's a beautiful thing to say, and to feel, and thank you for telling me that, because I had no idea. And I said to her, I said, well, that makes me feel good to know that I'm helping you to achieve some dreams of yours. But it's such a beautiful thing to say to somebody, and to
Yes.
help somebody achieve. I said, because that's one of the things that I want us to always think about, things that we've always wanted to do, and to do those things.
Yes. Yes.
Just do
And that's when
that.
you know when you're on the right track. When you get that
Yes,
positive feedback,
yes,
it feels so good.
yes, yes, yes. For people to say, yeah, this is something I've always wanted to do, but I didn't know where to start, or I didn't know who to talk to, or whatever. You just never know,
Right.
And to me, that's the beauty of the things that we do in our life at this point. It
Right.
should be things that make us happy.
Make us happy. Yes.
Yeah, it's got to be something to make us happy. We should
Yes.
not be doing anything that's going to make us sad at this point in our
Right.
life.
And then just share it, pay it forward,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that's exactly right. That's another thing, paying it forward so that we can make somebody else happy. That's
Yes.
exactly right. So, but
Yes.
Lisa, I have enjoyed talking to you. Tell people how they can get in touch with you, so they can, go to your page and see all the beautiful things you're doing, the things that you're doing to make yourself happy, and to bring a smile on everyone else's face as well.
Yeah. They can find me on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. It's Yaya_Roth. You want to have a good time? Come on over. The water is warm.
I love that the water is warm. The sunshine is there in Miami, honey. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, thank you, and thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for
It's
having
been
me.
a
I had
lot
a
of
good time.
fun. Yes,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
been a lot of fun. So yeah, and check out Miss Adrienne Carter on her page and
I will.
see what you can find. Maybe we'll see each other there, because I'm definitely going to check it out, see what I can find in the
Yes.
skincare.
I
And she
will.
has things for men as well.
Okay.
Okay, all
Check
right.
her
So
out.
take care of yourself, and I'm so glad we had a chance to get together.
Yes. I'm
All right, take
had a
care
good
now.